Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Please remember to hit the like button and tell me in the comments where you guys are watching, where you're based, where you're tuning in from. And thank you. We already got some donations. This one's from Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. There's another one on PayPal from Abdi. Thank you, Abdi. And we have another one also from George, who says journalism. Thank you, George. And Erica also sent one in, and I'm equally most grateful. So again, before I begin, I tell the truth about Israel. That's why they punish me. They demonetize the channel, which is, you know, my main source of income. So if you're able to support my work, you want to support independent media, please give it, give it some consideration. You can send a few euros once on PayPal, or maybe £2 every month on Patreon. It's up to you. If you can't share, if you can't donate, that's okay. Just share the videos. Let's get down to business, because this is explosive news, no pun intended. So we've got people tuning in from Iraq, from Iran, from Japan, from Brazil, from Chile, from Portugal, from the US, from New Zealand, from Canada, from Western Michigan, from Netherlands, Montreal, California, Antarctica, Brazil, Sydney, Portland, Afghanistan, Montreal, Philadelphia. The whole globe is here. We've got 2,000 of you watching, but only 1,000 likes. I'm going on strike until you all hit the like button. I'm kidding, but please hit it. So let's begin, all right? Good evening. My name is Richard Medhurst. Iran has launched retaliatory strikes against Israel. Hundreds of drones and missiles are headed to the Israeli occupation as we speak. These aren't just being fired from Iran. The entire region, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, are all hitting Israel with Iran as we speak. This is an unprecedented moment. We are witnessing history in the making. We are witnessing history in the making. Now, this is very important, so pay attention. Iran is not attacking Israel. Iran is responding to Israel's attack. Israel started this by bombing the Iranian embassy in Damascus. Bombing an embassy is like bombing the country itself, because the embassy is considered the sovereign territory of that country. Israel attacked Iran first, and now this is Iran's response. Here the Israelis confirming that they are being hit by UAVs, by unmanned aerial vehicles, meaning drones. This was then confirmed by the Americans and by the Iranians themselves, who announced it. Let me show you this post here. This is from the permanent mission of Iran to the UN in New York. They said that, conducted on the strength of Article 51 of the UN Charter pertaining to legitimate defense, Iran's military action was in response to the Zionist regime's aggression against our diplomatic premises in Damascus. The matter can be deemed concluded. However, should the Israeli regime make another mistake, Iran's response will be considerably more severe. It is a conflict between Iran and the rogue Israeli regime from which the US must stay away. Let us visualize what exactly is going on, because you have to really look at it with your own eyes to grasp the seriousness of the situation. Iran is hitting the Israeli occupation, is hitting occupied Palestine at a distance of 1,000 kilometers, give or take. 1,000 kilometers. That is massive. And not only that, but as I told you, these attacks are coming from Iraq, they're coming from Yemen, they're coming from Lebanon, and they're coming from Syria, all at the same time. You can't, yeah, I swear you can't even grasp what's going on. I can't even grasp it. This is so huge that we need time to digest it. We need time to digest it. Iran's attack or shall we say retaliatory response, which is really the true nature of it. Iran's retaliatory response is in 3 steps. The first wave consists of firing drones toward the Israeli occupation. A volley, a flurry of drones over and over and over, hundreds of drones. We know from the Israelis that Iran fired at least 150 drones, at least. Some figures are now saying it's in the 500 region, okay? That's the first wave. Now, the second wave is launching drones and other payloads from Iraq, from Syria, from Lebanon, to overwhelm Israel's defenses and its Iron Dome. The third wave, the final act, ballistic missiles. Ballistic missiles. Step 1 and step 2 are not the aim. Step 1 and step 2 are designed to overwhelm the Israelis' defenses so that in step 3, the ballistic missiles, the big boys, come in and get the job done. And believe me, Iran know a thing or two about ballistic missiles. Let's look at these videos. I want you to see the barrage of missiles that's coming in. It never seen something like this ever. This is in Iraq, okay? Firing missiles to occupy Palestine. Forgive me. And now more. This is another barrage. Look at that in the sky.
Okay.
This is southern Lebanon. Okay? South Lebanon launching rockets. Absolute madness. Have you ever seen anything like this before? I'm not talking about this Katyusha in particular. I'm talking about this orchestra. Now this is in Nablus, in Palestine. Missiles from Iran in the sky. This is happening right now as we speak. It's happening right now because these drones, they need hours to reach the occupied Palestinian territories, right? They need hours. It's happening right now. What I'm about to show you, this next video is going to blow your mind. This is the Aqsa Mosque. Okay? Dome of the Rock. Look at this site, the symbolic value of this, of having the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which has been the focal point of all of the recent resistance operations. Al-Aqsa flood was the October 7th operation. In 2021, also, it was about Al-Aqsa because the Israelis were going in, barging in and hitting people during prayer time. Look at the missiles of the resistance flying over the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Put it in the history books. Put it in the history books. Now the famed Iron Dome, I'll show you in a moment how it's faring. This is in Bethlehem. So you see, I'm showing you from all over the place. In Jerusalem, in Nablus, now in Bethlehem. Take a look. And the Israelis love to talk about their Iron Dome. Oh, how advanced it is, how powerful it is. This is how Iran's missiles penetrate the Iron Dome and reach their targets. Take a look.
صورت والله صورت المطار طاح المطار جوا وي ماشي
So much for the Iron Dome. Here's more footage. You see, the Iranians have been bullied by the Americans and the Israelis for decades. Starved with sanctions, having their scientists assassinated, their officers assassinated, bullied, killed. The embassy attack is really just scratching the surface. I mean, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's one atrocity in an ocean full of atrocities committed by the West against Iran. And I want to show you the technical prowess of the resistance, because it is thanks to Iran that all of this, the naval blockade, for example, that Yemen has instituted, this anti-ship ballistic missile technology, the drones, building these things for cheap. I mean, this won the war in Ukraine. The Russians won the war in Ukraine in part because of these Iranian drones, because of the Shahid 136 and 131. Look at these beasts, these absolute beasts. And on top of that, the missile technology. Iran's missiles can reach Africa. Okay, they can reach India. That's how advanced they are. And they named two of their missiles in 2020 after Haj Qasim, so Qasim Soleimani, who was assassinated by the Americans at the behest of the Israelis, and also Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, who was from the Iraqi resistance. These two men helped build the force that you see before you right this second, that is penetrating the Iron Dome and hitting the Israeli illegal occupation, and also implementing a blockade in the Red Sea in the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. I mean, walloping, slamming, spanking Haifa, the oil refineries, the Eilat port. I mean, the American bases, forget about it. Right now, they're very stressed. They're very stressed because the Israelis have closed their airspace, and then they got Jordan to close their airspace, and now Iraq, Lebanon, Syria have all closed their airspace. Now, I can tell you that in the case of Jordan, this was merely a form of flattery towards the Israelis. Oh yes, we'll do whatever you want, because if you establish ties with the Israelis, they've got you. You're not independent anymore. You're not sovereign. Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria shutting down their airspace is a mere formality because those rockets are still flying. Those rockets are still flying. Those ballistic missiles, the guided ballistic missiles, are flying right now as we speak. I mean, this is a historical event of magnitude that we can't even grasp. That's how big it is. We're going to be thinking about this moment for years because of how big it is. Never before have we had all of the resistance hitting this occupation with such force. Never. Now, the Iranians very kindly told the Americans to back off. This is not your fight. We have a bone to pick with the Israelis, so get out of the way. And the Americans obliged them. Moreover, they warned the so-called Arab kingdoms to also get out of the way, namely Qatar, for example, or Kuwait. They said, your American bases that you host on Arab soil in your country, if the Americans use that as a lily pad or as a staging ground to come attack Iran because of the proximity between our countries. You don't even want to know what's going to come. You don't even want to know. They warned them. They warned them. Let me show you this poor Israeli sod.
Iran has launched a direct attack from Iranian soil towards the State of Israel. We are closely monitoring Iranian killer drones that are en route to Israel sent by Iran. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness, ahead of this large-scale attack from Iran. Together with our partners, the Israel Defense Forces is operating at full force to defend the State of Israel and the people of Israel.
So let me explain to you this full force. The Israelis not only closed their airspace, they have shut down all schools, they have banned large public gatherings, they have told all politicians to stay indoors, and moreover, they are, of course, protecting Netanyahu, who is now holed up in a nice fancy bunker. So much for this grandiose Israeli defense. I mean, who are they kidding? What image does Israel have as a military power? It's gone. On October 7th, it was destroyed. The same thing for the Americans. When the Americans came to the Red Sea and tried to break through the Yemeni blockade, they got their nuts cut off. Excuse my vulgar language, but that's what happened. They became eunuchs. That's what happened. It's the Suez crisis moment for Joe Biden, for the Americans. Let me show you this speech. Now, this is not from today. It's actually from over a week ago, but it was reposted today before these missiles and drones started flying as a sort of announcement that the response is here. Because this operation is called Sincere Promise, because it was meant to be sincere. The Iranians were not bluffing.
اما خود رژیم خبیث که سرتابا خبث و شرارت و خطاست، یک خطای دیگری هم بر خطاهای خودش اضافه کرد و او حمله به کنسولگری ایران در سوریه بود. کنسولگری و دستگاه‌های سفارت در هر کشوری که وجود دارد به منزله خاک همون کشوری است که سفارت متعلق به اوست. وقتی به کنسولگری ما حمله میکنن مثل اینکه به خاک ما حمله کردن. این عرف دنیاست. رژیم خبیث اشتباه کرد در این قضیه، باید تنبیه بشود و تنبیه خواهد شد.
You know, when they killed Soleimani, the Iranians struck the Ain al-Assad base, which is a base occupied by the Americans in Iraq. And people were joking and saying, oh, well, you warned them in advance and, you know, they killed Soleimani and you do nothing in return. And so people were expecting Iran's response to this to also be some kind of bluff. That was the attitude of the naysayers. Well, they're not looking so smart now, are they? Now this fart, Josep Borrell of the EU, says the EU strongly condemns the unacceptable Iranian attack against Israel. This is an unprecedented escalation and a grave threat to regional security. Why do you, hold on a second, I thought this is a jungle. You said Europe is a garden and, you know, everybody outside is in a jungle. So why do you care about the regional security of a jungle? Huh? It's only the cradle of civilization, you know, nothing big, just the cradle of civilization. Where was his condemnation when Israel bombed the embassy? The whole world should have lost their minds. What's happening right now is because not only Iran had their embassy attacked by Israel, but because the world did nothing about it. The UN Security Council did nothing about it. I watched the session. I sat through the whole bloody thing. They did nothing, as usual. It's heartbreaking because these institutions were created to prevent war, to prevent conflict, and they are undermined on a daily basis by the Israelis, by the Zionists, by the Americans, by Britain, by the imperialists, on a daily basis. That's why they never work. And so he comes out and condemns Iran for an attack. It's not an attack. When you punch me and I hit you back, I'm defending myself. When you punch me and I hit you back, I am defending myself. Self-defense is enshrined in the UN Charter for countries under Article 51. Do I have to mail you a bloody copy of the UN Charter or smack you on the head with it so you get it through your thick skull? These people they're doing it on purpose, you know? Look at this headline from the New York Times. This was published this morning, and it says, Israel bombed an Iranian embassy complex. Is that allowed? Israel can likely argue that its actions did not violate international law's protections for diplomatic missions. Experts say. Oh, experts say. And who are these experts? Do they happen to be Zionists or something like that? Or, you know, got a few screws to loose? Experts say. I don't give a crap what experts say. You need to learn bloody English and read the goddamn Vienna Convention. Article 22. You cannot attack or violate a diplomatic premises. It's inviolable. No touching, no damage, nothing. Walk away. These people are lunatics. How deranged do you have to be? What kind of editor publishes this garbage? What's a rag? What's an utter rag? Is that allowed? No, it's not bloody allowed. This is why we have the response that we're seeing this second as we speak. It's because we're living in a world where these lunatics in the media, in the international organizations and NGOs, in Western governments, are living in la la land. You know, it's upside down world for them. When Israel bullies someone, it's self-defense. And if you do anything, you're a terrorist. Hey, you can get your embassy bombed. There's nothing wrong with that because Israel did it. These lunatics, absolute shameful people. Now, right now, you got people in the streets in Beirut, for example, cheering at the sight of the resistance fighting for their rights, standing up for them. You've also got people in Palestine tearing down the apartheid wall. Now, let me be honest with you. For me, this is too good to be true. But they are tearing down a section of it. I'm not sure the whole wall came down, but it's a pleasant sight nonetheless. And this is happening right now, all of this, right? People are celebrating. They're up in arms. They're energetic. They're excited. They want a better future. You know, Iran's attitude has gotten bolder because Yemen was the one stopping Israeli-linked ships or British ships or American ships. And I always complained that the Arabs have all the crucial straits in their territory. Strait of Gibraltar in Morocco, the Suez Canal in Egypt, Bab el-Mandeb Strait in Yemen, and then, of course, the Strait of Hormuz, right where Oman is. Now, Iran is also, you know, on the Strait of Hormuz is also on Iran's doorstep. And so Iran, seeing that the world will do nothing to defend its rights as a state, has gotten bolder. And look what they did. today. They captured an Israeli-linked ship, MSC Arius, captured in the Strait of Hormuz.
Hey, things up, don't come out. Hey, things up. Chopper, yaar. Better go to bridge.
They stormed the ship. They stormed the ship like the Yemenis stormed Galaxy Leader, if you recall. Yes? Iran is done taking crap from smug countries who won't do anything to stand up for international law. They want a rules-based order, whatever that means, but not international law. Oh no, that's not all right. And so we come to a situation where you have to take the law into your own hands. It's very unfortunate because I think we can all agree that it's better to have international law that really works, that is actually respected, not like this blah blah, this fake international law that they talk about every day and they do the complete opposite of what it says. I'm talking about real conventions and treaties that are respected. We would all love that, but they can't let us have it. Let's look at some of the developments, the other developments I wanted to show you. Haifa, the municipality of Haifa, declared a state of emergency. The Israelis have announced that you have drones being launched from Yemen. Again, this is one of the most spectacular outcomes of this war from a strategic, again, a purely objective strategic point of view, is that now you have people in Yemen who have the technology and the know-how to fire a drone or a missile and hit with precision, pinpoint accuracy, a port occupied by Zionists in al-Rashrash or Eliat. Lebanon, Hezbollah can also do the same thing. They can hit the same port. They can also hit Haifa easily. The Iraqis who are further away can also hit it. You have a radius now. You have a Venn diagram, right? You've got 5 Venn diagrams all perfectly on top of each other. Iran, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, all of them able to hit targets wherever they are, in the sea, on land, in the air. The West is in decline. They don't want to accept it. Israel is in decline. It has, its image as a military power has been blown to smithereens. It's a joke. And this proves it yet again. Let me show you something else. This is from Sky News. Look what they said. They said, even if the drones are intercepted, so even if the Israelis manage to shoot down the drones, and even if the number of casualties is rather low, Israelis will nevertheless feel profoundly vulnerable, and the Israeli government compelled to retaliate. Now, there's a senior US official who was speaking to ABC News, and this is what he said. He said there will be anywhere from 400 to 500 drones and missiles launched at Israel from Iraq, from Syria, from South Lebanon, and Yemen. But the bulk will be launched from Iran. I mean, just please try and visualize this. I'm repeating myself because I have to repeat myself. It warrants this attention. It merits your attention. We have all of the resistance axis at the same time with never seen before amounts of force firing at this occupation. What does that tell you? It tells you that all of the Israelis' efforts have been in vain. They are in decline. Their image is gone. And on top of that, they failed to weaken the resistance in any capacity. On the contrary, they got stronger. The resistance not only stayed the same, it got stronger. And the Americans, just like the Israelis, again, you have to grasp how significant this is. it's truly scandalous, you know, for the Americans. I mean, Biden is probably losing his mind right now if he has one. There's an IDF base, an Israeli base. By the way, we shouldn't say IDF because it's not an Israeli defense force. It's an Israeli occupation force. That's what they should be called. So there's an Israeli base that was damaged by the Iranian strikes. And this is a story that just came out a few minutes ago. Okay, so this is from the spokesperson, the one I showed you earlier. He said Iran launched dozens of ballistic missiles at Israel and caused damage to a military base. He says most of the missiles were intercepted by the long-range Arrow air defense system. So you see the Israelis, they have Iron Dome, then they have Arrow, and then they have David's sling. Okay, so these are basically made for their respective sizes in ordnance, payload, and weight. So Iron Dome will be for rockets or smaller missiles, and then Arrow for medium range, and then long range missiles will be shot down by David's sling. Now the Israelis are inflating their gains here because they have been humiliated yet again. The image of the resistance, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. And I submit to you, what Arab country has done what Iran is doing for Palestine? Where is Saudi Arabia? Where is Saudi Arabia? What are they doing? They bought hundreds of billions of dollars of American weapons to commit a massacre in Yemen, but not to save Palestine. Oh no. Not enough money in it, I suppose. Where's Saudi Arabia? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy that Saudi Arabia and Iran made peace. But I have to ask this question because there's no Arab solidarity here. You know, Iran is not an Arab country. It's a Muslim country. But again, I ask you, where are the Arabs? Syria is the only state actor in this whole business, this whole group that is an Arab state. You know, the Houthis or Ansar Allah, Hezbollah, the Hashd al-Sha'bi, they're not state actors. They're still very relevant, of course, but you take my point, I hope. So what are they doing to Yemen? Since we're talking about Yemen, right now, Britain and the United States are bombing Yemen yet again. You know, apparently, if you bomb Yemen for the 6th month, maybe you can get through the blockade. Yeah, sure. I'm certain that will work, right? Just like it worked last month, or last week, and all the other times you bombed Yemen. Yeah, you really achieved a lot. You lost the war, and then you lost the blockade and got became a eunuch. Well done. Yeah, keep bombing Yemen. I mean, I didn't vote for this. Nobody asked me. My government is thousands of kilometers away bombing people in Yemen. I don't accept this. What is this? And they say it's a democracy. No, it's not a democracy. It's everything that is undemocratic. Everything. We are living in a historic moment right now, in every sense of the term. It's a watershed moment. Now, the Americans are saying that they've shot down some Iranian drones. That's normal. We're talking about hundreds of drones. Obviously, the Israelis and the Americans will get to shoot down some of them, obviously. What they're not telling us is the targets that were hit, and we have video evidence I just showed you. Just half an hour ago, so I've just received the communique. Half an hour ago, the Iranians began the third wave. It's official. The ballistic missiles are on their way right now as we speak to the Israeli occupation. Now, again, whether you like it or not, you can't deny the significance of such a statement. I mean, to say it out loud is wild, honestly. it is significant that Iran is firing from its soil directly, because they always want to say, oh, it's the proxies and the proxies. What proxy? Name one Iranian proxy that is actually proxy. You can't. They just want to slander. They want to smear the best resistance groups of our time. Show me a better resistance group than Hezbollah. You can't. Or Hamas. Again, you don't have to like them. I'm talking about results. Are they able to beat the enemy? Yes. Are they able to develop themselves and become better? Yes. So they want to smear them because they don't like the fact that they're being fought. So they say Iran proxy and this and that. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Look at this, for example. This missile. This is a Khorramshahr. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but this is one of the missiles being launched. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Truly wild. I'll show you this tweet from Elijah. And he says that Iran have managed to destroy several military locations, many in the south, and in particular, Negev airport and the army facilities. The possibility of Israel responding is higher now due to the damage it has suffered in this Iranian punishment. Meaning the Israelis are so angry that they've been had that they might lash out, you know, like a child throwing a tantrum. Now, let me tell you something. When I'm reading this and I see that the Negev airport and the military facilities have been taken out, I can't help but recall the fact that the Israelis bombed the Damascus airport and also the international airport in Aleppo over and over. They bomb it, Syria repairs it, they come and bomb it again. You know, it's evil. It's like you know, picking on someone. I mean, I've been to that airport a million times, and when I saw those pictures, it's upsetting, you know? But now the Israelis are getting a taste of their own medicine, and they don't like it. Thank you for the donations. Again, I'll put the links for PayPal in the chat. I'm going to read your comments and questions momentarily. Just give me a second to copy and paste them. Again, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think about what's happening right now. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So tell me in the comments. I'm reading them. We've got a donation here from Julie. Thank you very much, Julie. And there's another one on PayPal from Spitz who says, Richard, impressive journalism. Keep up your good work, Ziggy. Thank you, Ziggy. I appreciate this very much. You're very kind. And Jason also sent a donation. We also have another one from Badreen who says, journalist support. Thank you both. And there's another one from Salik who says, thanks for the latest update news. You're most welcome. We have another one on PayPal. This is from Zazie who says, support a heroic young journalist. Well, surely you can't be talking about me. You're most kind. Thank you. And there's another one from Colin. Colin, it's good to see you. And Grace. And also we have a donation from Nandan who says, keep on doing a great job, brother. Thank you. I will always endeavor to do so. And we have another donation also on PayPal from Shahab. Thank you so much. On Rumble, some of you also sent in donations. Let me read them to you. Gold Alchemist says, Iran has given us the greatest Eid gift we could have hoped for today. Amen. 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 There's another one from a progressive lefty who says, love your work from Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver Island. Well, thank you. You're very kind. And we have another one from Phono who says, I love you all, my fellow humans, and I see you in heaven in God's speed. We have another donation. This is from Doc Durkin, who says, I imagine Iran already have spoken with China and Russia prior to this. One can assume they have Iran's back. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there's always a slight chance that they didn't. Why do I say this? Because, for example, October 7, you know, Hamas did that without telling the rest of the axis of resistance, right? There's a speech by Nasrallah where he says, we had no idea. We knew that there's going to be an operation at some point, but we had no idea what the date was. But the next day we were on the ground supporting them. And it's true. If you look at since October 8 to this day, Hezbollah are in the field. I mean, right now it's like 2 in the morning and they're firing drones. I mean, you know, so there's a chance they didn't tell the Russians and Chinese, but I think they did. Why wouldn't they, right? Why wouldn't they? Matthew says, spoiler, dreams deferred do explode. And we have Gold Alchemist, who says, the days when colonialists can throw their weight around and get away with it are long gone. Amen. Amen. You know, this plus the Americans and the French being kicked out of Niger is... it's not a good year to be a colonizer, nor was the last. Thank you very much. Pippo says, thanks for keeping us up to date, Richard. You're most welcome. It's my job. And we have Wampa Deluxe, who says, I waited all day for your stream, brother. I'm glad you're here and that you caught the stream. And believe me, I was preparing all day for this and collating information. It's funny because up until the last minute, they were playing a game of chicken. And let me explain what I mean by that. So you had the Israelis and Americans saying that, oh my God, Iran is going to strike, Iran is going to attack. Once again, they leave out the part where Israel started the fight by bombing the Iranian embassy. They leave that out because that's inconvenient. And they fast forward, just like with October 7. Everything before October 7, let's leave that out. History began on October 7, right? So they do the same thing. We are the victims, we're the victims. And at the same time, they're making fun of Iran because they're saying, you can't strike. What are you going to do? You don't do anything. Look at the last time. Now you're not going to do anything. And so they were playing this ridiculous game of you know, contradicting themselves. One second they say Iran is incapable, and the next they say they're afraid. Which one is it? If you're afraid, then don't go around bombing embassies. I mean, you know, you don't even apologize. The Americans at least apologized when they bombed the Chinese embassy. Now, were they sincere? Should we believe the apology? I don't think so. But at least the masquerade, the facade, the charade of apologizing was present. In this case, there is nothing but hostility, but brazen contempt towards the Iranians. You know, no apology, not even acknowledging the strike, and just more violence, right? And then saying it's not an embassy. It's not your place to say whether it's an embassy. Syria decides that. I don't know what tangent you guys sent me on, but again, thanks for the donations. We're not done, by the way. I've still got more to talk about. Thank you, Gold Alchemist, who says, long live Iran, long live the resistance. Missiles have hit the Zionist scum. Tahya al-Muqawmi. Gold Alchemist says, I can't verify this, but it looks like Tel Aviv, Yafa is the real name, has been bombed. I also saw this and I wasn't able to verify it, so I didn't show it to you guys. But I mean, why wouldn't it? If they're hitting Haifa, right, and they're hitting Jerusalem, I mean, they weren't hitting Jerusalem, it was going near Jerusalem. Why wouldn't they hit Tel Aviv? I think that it's certainly an important target. I'll show you the video nonetheless, but again, this is unconfirmed, okay? It's unconfirmed. And thank you, Gold Alchemist. You're always hooking me up with videos. I appreciate it.
صبرت والله صبرت المطار طاح المطار جوا وين ماشي دور
I'm checking out the second one that you sent me, and Yeah, I think I played that one. No, I didn't. Excuse me. This video is quite amazing. Watch this. This is again proof that the Iron Dome is not as fancy as the Israelis make it out to be.
يا ولاد يا ولاد يا ولاد يا ابوي على المكلتين على المكلتين خبط في دار طاع علينا يا ولاد يا ولاد يا ولاد.
They're not going to tell you about that, are they? We have a donation. This is on PayPal and it's from John. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. You're very kind. And likewise to Esther. Thank you. Floyd says, thank you for your work. Israel asked for it. Now they're getting it back. Well, as they say, you know, F around and find out. This is me trying not to cuss. Assad says, thank you, Richard, for all your work and journalism. Thank you. You're very kind. I always appreciate your guys' comments. And Shamil says, donation. Thank you. There's another one here. This is from Akbar. We have one from Jack. Thank you both. And in addition, we have Jonathan who says, a gift for excellent independent journalism. Thank you, my good sir. You're most kind. Kate says, thank you, Richard. Kate from GA. Shout out to Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. Thank you, Cutler, and all of you. You're very kind. I can barely keep up. So let me continue with the politics, and then I'll come back to your comments. And again, I'm most grateful for your support because it's literally because of these reports, because I'm covering this war honestly, or at least to the best of my abilities, honestly. Just showing you what they won't show you on mainstream media. The stuff that they try to sweep under the rug. That's what I want to show you because it counts the most. It's the most valuable, the most important information. And they punished me for it. They took away my income. When you take away a journalist's income, this is censorship because you're preventing them from carrying out their duties as a journalist, right? So, you know, it's annoying, but I do have to ask you guys, and I hope you oblige me with a monthly donation on Patreon or one-time thing on PayPal, or just sharing the videos is already a huge way to support, and I'm most grateful. Give me a second to pull this up for you. I'm looking up, I'm just looking for the latest news. So these are coming in right now. The Iranian government is saying through the media that if the Zionists, if the Israelis retaliate, the next punishment will be even bigger and more severe. Now, I have no reason to doubt their word. They've just demonstrated, not just the Iranians, but the whole resistance axis. Like, look how they have each other's backs. That's loyalty. That's friendship. They've demonstrated that they're very serious, right? They're very, very serious about retaliating and defending themselves. So their point is simply that if Israel goes to bomb Iran now or do something, they're going to get it again. It's going to keep going like ping pong. And I'm afraid the Zionists are out of luck. Reuters citing 3 US officials saying the US military shot down an Iranian drone aircraft headed toward Israel. Well, I'm waiting for the videos to come in. I told you that the ballistic missiles, now obviously these are much faster than the drones, much faster. I'm waiting for the footage to come in, because the most valuable targets are going to be hit now with these ballistic missiles. They are more precise, they carry a heavier payload, and they're also much faster and harder to shoot down. This is a video of Iran attacking in the Nevatim airbase. Okay, it's an Israeli airbase. Watch it getting clapped.
Ya Allah. هاي وصلن Ya Allah.
I mean, it's like a fireworks show, you know? It's like a fireworks show. And where's the Iron Dome? It's nowhere to be found. The Israelis, they're all talk. And the reason they do this is because, well, they're the chosen people, right? They're superior to everybody. So of course they would have superior weapons and superior technology, of course. This is marketing. This is marketing. Now, the Iron Dome is not for sale, but the Israelis do sell cyber weapons. And I don't care about this exemption that they recently brought out. They sell cyber weapons. And so they put this crap in movies. They try to plant this seed in your head that, you know, the Israelis are so smart. They have the best technology. They have the best everything, anything tech, anything weapons. And on top of that, if you look at, I lost my bloody train of thought. Give me a second. Here's another video. In the meantime, till I remember what I was trying to say. I was going to give you another example. It's a bit hard to make this out, you know, because most people are filming these with their phones at night. So, you know, it's difficult to get a hold of good footage. On top of that, the Israelis have been jamming people's internet and GPS. So I'm assuming that it's also much harder for people to even upload these things. Thanks again to the wonderful occupation, right? Courtesy of the Zionists. Again, this video blows my mind. This one with the Aqsa Mosque. I mean, this is something else, really. Please look at this site again, because it's a symbol of liberation. This site is a symbol of liberation. The Aqsa Mosque, the path that leads to Jerusalem, ends here. Finally being liberated, finally kicking the Zionists out. This is such a potent piece of imagery. I mean, it's like, for example, if you would take a photo of, I don't know, Big Ben. Obviously, Big Ben is not a religious, you know, it doesn't have the same value as the Aqsa Mosque. But just to give you an analogy, it's like if you had Big Ben and rockets coming over, you know, overhead, being fired by the resistance, liberating the country with this symbol, this central you know, icon. So it has that same potency, without question. Look at the Israelis. This is the official page of the Israeli occupation forces. And I mean, when you look at how they talk, it's really something. Look at this. Okay, so again, this is the official IDF Israeli occupation page, okay? Look at their whining.
Fired hundreds of the most powerful missiles and drones directly at millions of Israelis. Iran has been attacking Israel for the...
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's unpack this. I thought Iran are incapable. So how is it that they have some of the most powerful missiles? I don't understand. And then on top of that, directly at millions of Israelis. Oh, okay. So, you know, when you drop 2,000-pound bombs on Gaza, where you have millions of Palestinians, over 2 million, that's okay. You know, laying waste to an entire part of Palestine, leveling it. That's okay, is it?
Israelis.
Iran has been attacking Israel for the past 45 years. I swear to God, this is like somebody who comes, punches you in the face, and then says, he punched me. That's Israel. That is Israel. Israel has been attacking Iran for 45 bloody years. Because you have to understand that Iran used to be under the control of the Shah and therefore under the control of London and Washington. And he was basically, you know, buying all the weapons, basically like Saudi Arabia is today, right? So you can sort of draw an equivalence there. Iran was like the regional bulldog that was controlled by the West. They would sell all their weapons to Iran. It was a client state. And then he would give them free oil, and they would rob Iranians, the average Iranians, of incalculable amounts of resources. And so when the Iranians had enough of that and they got rid of him, suddenly they flipped. They hate Iran ever since. They never forgiven Iran for that. And Israel is the one that has attacked Iran incessantly because they're infuriated that Iranians want nothing to do with them. Well, it's their right to want nothing to do with you. They don't like you. You're colonizers. It's their right to cut ties with you. By the way, the Iranians not only cut ties, they cut ties and gave the Israeli embassy to the PLO, to the Palestinians, the same building. So it's Israel who has pushed the US to impose sanctions on Iranians, starving Iranians, killing Iranians. You got people who need crucial medicine, can't get it because of sanctions. It's Israel that made America, or got America alongside to kill Soleimani and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis. Israel is the one that wants America to come fight a war on its behalf against Iran. Israel is the one that's killed Iranian scientists, killed Iranian officers. I mean, how dare you? How dare you show me this garbage in front of my eyes? How dare you write this sentence? They have no shame. By ordering its vast proxy network, Israel is a proxy. Israel is a proxy. Once again, they hate the resistance because they're the resistance. Can you imagine if the Israelis went around and said, well, you know, there was a shootout with a bunch of resistance fighters. If the Israelis said that, if they were honest, people would stop and go, hold on a second, what do you mean resistance fighters? What are these people resisting? Oh, you colonizers, now we get it. So they have to change the language. They change the vocabulary, right? They change it entirely. Now it's not resistance fighters. Oh, it's terrorists. Yeah. And it's not, the Israelis are not settlers and colonizers. Oh no, they're the chosen people. God gave them the land. Yeah, it says so. So the resistance fighters now become a proxy network because it fits their narrative. What rubbish. I mean, look at this disgusting language that Iran has come out of the shadows to expose their true face. Please fix your English. It's either you say Iran have come out of the shadows to expose their true face, or Iran has come out of the shadows to expose its true face. Anyway, that's besides the point. The Israelis are being called by the entire planet, all over social media, all over, in non-Western media, the ones whose mask has fallen, okay? The Israelis are referred to as the ones whose mask has fallen, okay? And so they want to use this language and then against Iran and try to, flip the whole narrative in their favor. Very funny. It's so funny, really, that they use this language. A radical and irrational regime. Everyone calls the Israelis irrational and radical, and now they want to use the language against Iran. Very funny. Directly launching a coordinated attack. And what do you call it? Might I ask you? What do you call it when the Israelis and the Americans go and bomb someone or murder someone in Syria and Damascus. You know, like they've done that, the Mossad and the CIA. These coordinated attacks are all right. You can coordinate attacks with your friends. You get to do that, huh? You get to bomb civilians. You get to drop your bombs wherever you want. I see how it is. And sorry, what is an Israeli civilian? Can you explain that to me? When every man and woman has to go to the army, mandatory. How the hell are you a civilian? You're not a civilian. You're a trained killer in a uniform. I mean, what a cheap piece of propaganda, I swear. It's like, I'm insulted that I wasted our time with this video. Let me show you some tweets from these mad dog American politicians. I mean, first let's begin with Biden. Look at this garbage. So Biden says, I just met with my national security team for an update on Iran's attacks against Israel. Our commitment to Israel's security against threats from Iran and its proxies is ironclad. Yeah, well, you're doing a pretty crappy job. So roll over. You're lost. You suck. You lost. Get out of the region. Go away. I mean, they talk about Israel as if it's the same country. And in many ways it is. You understand why. Because this weird relationship is so bizarre. I mean, no one talks about another country like that. As if it's their own country. What is this? You don't even talk about us like that in Britain. And we're the same country. We're the same country, man. You just ran off and made up a new flag. Calling it an attack. Look at these nasty people. These people are the terrorists. Who is this idiot? So she's a congresswoman from Texas. In Texas. Iran is a terrorist nation. They have just launched a disproportionate attack against our ally Israel. It's a pretty good Bush impersonation, right? Or impression, rather. Jesus, can you imagine impersonating him? So she says the free world and the United States will stand against this terrorist nation and the tyranny that it promotes. Jesus Christ, I mean, Dick Cheney could have written this, or David Frum. The free world and the United States. What is this crap? What are you, in 2001? The free world. Utter garbage. Utter garbage. Saudi Arabia, the foreign ministry, have released a communique expressing their concern, expressing their deep concern over the military escalation developments in the region and its serious repercussions. The kingdom urges all parties to exercise maximum restraint and to protect the region and its people from the dangers of war. Yeah, okay. So again, when you defend yourself, now it's, oh, you have to exercise restraint. I mean, how dare you talk about restraint? Have you not seen the restraint exhibited by Iran? I don't know anyone who's more patient. I don't know anyone who is more patient. Iran have been hit badly many times, and they bit their tongue. And they know that revenge is a dish best eaten cold. They know that. And they built up, and they built up, and they built up, and they improved, and they advanced, and they went forward, and now it's spanking time. Now it's spanking time, and they're all whining. They're all crying. They're all whinging. Because now they don't like it, do they, when it's their turn? Hypocrites. Look at this filth, Mike Pompeo. Sorry, I mean, I don't like to call somebody that, but neoconservatives deserve it after what they've done. Watch this.
Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and CIA Director, now Fox News contributor. Iran has a $1 million bounty on of the.
Well, Martha, it's great to be with you. I think what we can see is the risk is pretty significant. It sounds like they have pretty specific intelligence about a relatively imminent attack. They may know more than they've even let on about both timing and the nature of that attack. I haven't seen the intelligence, obviously. But, Martha, as a policy matter, what I think this suggests is we've lost the bubble. We've lost deterrence, right? The Iranians have already attacked Israel once on October 7th through their proxy Hamas. They're continuing to fire on American interests in the region now over.
Again, I'll repeat to you that nobody knew in the resistance axis, neither Hezbollah nor Syria nor Iran, none of them knew that Hamas were going to attack on October 7th. And again, when we use the verb attack, it makes it sound like, they started the fight. Dude, the Israelis have been attacking for 75 years. Actually, it's much more than that, right? Because they were already emigrating en masse for 40 years before there was any Israel. And there was lots of killing and lots of terrorism with their Haganah. And again, the same thing with Iran. It's like history always begins when, when people defend themselves. That's when history begins for Zionists and imperialists. You're the attacker. How dare you stand up for yourself?
100 times since October 7th. And so what we're talking about in the next 24 or 48 hours is just a continuation of a failed policy to actually protect Israel. And so when I hear President Biden say he's prepared to defend them, last week he told them they couldn't continue to destroy Hamas. And so they've really told the Iranians this is.
Am I losing my mind? Am I hallucinating? What is this man babbling on about? How can anyone come and say that they are more Zionist than Joe Biden? What do you want him to do? What has Joe Biden not done that you would do? This guy is so Zionist, he has his head shoved up, who. It's disgusting how Zionist Joe Biden is. Truly disgusting. You all know the videos. I don't need to look them up, where he's saying, you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. I'm a Zionist. Yes, clearly, we can see that. I mean, the statements also that, if I think it's Pelosi who might have said it as well, and they're all part of the same crew. They all think like this, and they said that, were there not an Israel, they would have to invent one or build it. I mean, they talk about Israel like it's their own country, like it's more valuable than the United States. Make your minds up. Are you politicians who represent constituents in the United States, or are you colonizers in Palestine? I know they try to be both, but it's really vile seeing that. It's so weird. And Mike Pompeo is coming here and acting like Biden hasn't done enough for Israel. What, do you want another genocide, like 2 for 1, or two for the price of one? What exactly has he not allowed the Israelis to do? Please give me an example. You can't.
This is green light. Even his statements today, which says, what's your response? It's don't. Well, he said don't multiple times, and don't isn't a national security policy. It's not even a deterrent. This is, frankly, don't from President Biden suggests don't do anything that would draw us in, and then we'll accept it. This is really dangerous stuff, Martha.
What a bunch of nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. Honestly, I can't stand this guy. He acts like Joe Biden isn't doing enough. I mean, I can't believe I'm defending Joe Biden. I'm not, actually, but it's weird. It's very weird. Out of all the issues, this is the last one where a Republican or a neoconservative can come and say you're not as Israeli or Zionist as me. Joe Biden, remember, I covered the nuclear deal negotiations on the ground. I was there. And they were very close to signing it again. But then the Americans, they dropped everything. They dropped everything. Now, of course, the Ukraine war started, but that doesn't impede one from engaging in accords, signing treaties or conventions or bilateral or multilateral agreements. There are always wars with the Americans, and they're perfectly capable of signing accords. So I don't accept this excuse. Joe Biden and his administration are just as bad as Donald Trump, just as bad as Barack Obama, just as bad as George Bush. We've had consecutive neoconservatives. It's true. Look at Israel. Look at the attitude. Look at this poison that they secrete, that they that comes out of them. It's intolerable, honestly. Every day they got to bomb someone in the Middle East. It's always neoconservatism. And Joe Biden didn't get back in the nuclear deal. What does that mean? That means there are sanctions on Iran. So again, you need life-saving medication. Too bad, can't get it because Joe Biden is a neoconservative. They also put limitations on Iran with the SWIFT system. Iran was the first one to be banned from it. I mean, insane things, right? Insane things where you're really, it's like a siege. In the old days, in medieval times, when they would surround a town or a castle and they would wait it out till the people inside ran out of food and died. A siege, right? You trap the people in a circle. This is the modern equivalent. Sanctions are the modern equivalent of a siege. In every sense of the term. In every sense of the term. Let me show you some more morons. God, I mean, it's I apologize in advance. This is Scholz, the German Hitler's successor, and he says the attack on Israeli territory that Iran launched tonight is unjustifiable and highly irresponsible. Iran risks a further escalation in the region. Germany stands by Israel, and we will discuss the situation with our allies. Hopeless case. Hopeless case. What can I say? Rishi Sunak. Apparently he is the prime minister of my country, even though no one voted for him. Isn't it so democratic? You have, 2-3 prime ministers in a row that nobody voted for. So he says, I condemn in the strongest terms the Iranian regime's reckless attack against Israel. Iran has once again demonstrated that it is intent on sowing chaos in its own backyard. The UK will continue to stand up for Israel's security and that of all our regional partners, including Jordan and Iraq. Alongside our allies, we are urgently working to stabilize the situation and prevent further escalation. No one wants to see more bloodshed. Why don't you jog off? Because I hate these communiques. I hate these statements with every fiber of my being. They are so empty and hollow and full of crap. I mean, empty words. They don't mean any of this. And the way that they chastise Iran and act like, this problem is new and Iran is behind it. What about the bloodshed? You're not concerned about bloodshed in Gaza? That's not bad, or killing people, diplomats in an embassy? That's not bad to you? You're not concerned with that. These people are the worst hypocrites on the planet. They are the scum of the earth. I'm sorry. So Netanyahu, I told you, is hiding in a bunker, okay? And let me enlighten you on the nature of this bunker, okay? So ahead of a possible attack from Iran, Netanyahu moved over the weekend to the house of Simon Falich in Jerusalem, which, according to previous reports, has a fortified bunker. Falich is a US billionaire, a GOP donor, and the owner of Duty Free America. Netanyahu stayed at his house at the beginning of the war after rockets were fired on Jerusalem. I mean, are we surprised? And his son is in Miami, right? So he's fine murdering Israeli hostages and letting other people go into Gaza, but his son gets to party in Miami, and he has a security team watching him 24/7 that Israelis pay for. I mean, it really seems like a fair democratic society to me. Wouldn't you agree? It's full of accountability, right? Someone like Netanyahu, corrupt to the core, having 2 premierships not in a row, but that were not consecutive, but nevertheless 2 premierships. Wow. So, corruption and crime really do pay in Israel, don't they? He can go and hide in a bunker all he likes, but he can't run away from the truth. He can't run away from these strategic wins that the resistance have fought for and gained. You can't do it. Again, on the chessboard, they're losing. It's over. From here on out, the West is in decline. The Israelis now are asking for an immediate session, emergency session in the UN Security Council. And I have to laugh because, again, I told you they called one for Iran, okay, when the embassy was bombed, and they did nothing, right? So I expect the Chinese and the Russians to maybe back Iran on this, but we'll see. We'll see. I can cover it with you tomorrow when it happens. Let me read to you some of the nice messages that you guys have sent me. This one is from Hamad, who says, revenge is a dish best served with ballistic missiles. Yes, indeed. And we have Sarah, who just joined on Patreon. And we have Dorothy, who also joined on Patreon. And we have Winston. Everybody, please give them a round of applause because they have earned themselves a crab dance.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line, claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Cut that bitch off.
Thank you for Iron Dome.
Thank you.
والله في كلاب بصراحة يعني. ماشي نشتغل عادي.
We lied, we cheated, we stole.
China.
And you ain't black.
There's always the macro.
And then there's the micro.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You talking to me?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have 2 number 9s. A number 9 large.
We got him.
Because I have to do it myself. I know it's not.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh!
Disgusting!
She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Why you text Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it! I yield my time! Fuck you!
Ain't nothing better than a crab dance. Nothing. I have to say, I'm most grateful to Christian and also to Fotini, who says, thank you for your excellent journalism. Keep up the good work from the Bahamas. Shout out to the Bahamas and to you. Kevin says, thank you for being such an amazing and diligent journalist. I always love your broadcasts. I learn something every show. Keep up the good work, my friend. Well, you guys need to stop making me blush, but I'm very happy to hear that. That's the best compliment I can possibly receive, that you have learned something new. I always love it when people say that, because the whole point is to be informative. So thank you. And Patricia, Akbar, and Theodorus, thank you very much. I know, you know, in the West Bank, the Israelis have been attacking Palestinians. I mean, in the most disgusting ways. They went on a rampage yesterday in a Palestinian village. They killed one person, one man, and injured 25 people. I mean, it's psychotic. No wonder their army behaves like this, because these are the people in the army. And when they're not, when they're not on active duty, but they're reservists, so they're basically still in the army, but without the uniform on, unless they're dropped it. They walk around with their guns, with their, automatic rifles in the street, like a bunch of thugs. And they can kill a Palestinian, yeah. No problem. Doesn't matter. Whatever, It's like squashing an ant for them. I've never seen something so callous and evil as this society. It is really disheartening. Again, guys, I'm very grateful for all of these donations. You're very kind. Thank you for helping me, because it sucks not being monetized. You know, how many subscribers are we now? 230,000. I love you guys. You have to do me a favor, please. This is very important. I need you guys. I'll do this afterwards. I need you guys to go on Rumble and subscribe to my channel there. It's the same channel. I'm actually live streaming right now on both YouTube and Rumble. And I just want you to do that so we have a backup, okay? It's very crucial that you do this. And the URL, I'll have it in the chat. It's simply rumble.com/Richard Medhurst. So I know it's annoying to make an account, but given the climate of censorship on social media and big tech, we have to do this. You have to go subscribe. And every time we get 100 subscribers, I play the crab dance. So there's your incentive. Many of you also send me messages saying, hey, I subscribed on Rumble. I love it. Thank you very much. And you're also doing a service to yourselves. So guys, I was on Fox News earlier. I will post the interview shortly. I was there to talk about Iran, and I'm going on Press TV in 10 minutes. So catch me there if you want. And yeah, again, thank you to all of you. Please donate if you can. I have to make up for the money that these bastards took away. So we got to do it somehow. Again, forgive my French. The links are in the chat. The links are in the description. Again, I'm very grateful to all of you tuning in. And let me just paste them for you in the chat. And those of you who've just joined, before anyone goes anywhere, you better freeze. Tell me in the comments where you guys are tuning in from, because I always ask that at the beginning. So there's the Patreon link. One of you saying, Richard, start a Twitch channel. I actually have one, but I'm not using it. So maybe I should use it. But don't they censor politics on Twitch? I'm not familiar with the with their so-called algorithm. All right. People, I love you. We got people tuning in from Connecticut, from Austria, from Los Angeles, from Tunisia, from Canada, from Tennessee, from Italy, from Canada, Singapore, Solomon Islands, Iowa, Ireland, Siberia, Singapore, Kuwait, Detroit, Austria, Mexico, Canada. I mean, this is unbelievable. That's why I keep the globe. Wow. Seriously, I got to sit down and count and list all the countries, and I have a strong feeling we will get all of them. So thank you guys very much. This is really a pleasure to see. And let me ask you something. In your countries, how is the climate, the political climate, when you talk about Palestine? Are people brainwashed with the Israeli nonsense? Is it difficult to talk about Palestine? Because I can tell you, for example, in England, it's it's gotten a bit better, but it's still very, very difficult. I mean, Germany is even worse, though. Germany's much worse. And it just straight up fascist nonsense. They haven't changed, have they? Thank you, Free Palestine. Thank you again to all of you. Long live the resistance. So some of you are saying, yes, people are brainwashed. Some of you are saying, yes, they're waking up. Some of you are saying mostly ignorant. Kebaz says, in Australia, pro-Israel media. Yep. Yep. This is where I bid you farewell. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember to donate on PayPal. Please help me out. Support independent journalism. You can donate monthly on Patreon. And share the videos. It's bloody important. Share the videos. Catch me on Press TV in 5 minutes. Take care. Ma salame. Bye-bye.
A is for
all men and women created by you know the thing.
B is for
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
C is for
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
D is for
Don't worry, I'm so serious. Children, I love to hear them.
E is for
Excuse to walk by the dealer and say, no, I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
F is for
Friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life.
G is for
Go to Joe 30330.
H is for
Hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down.
I is for
I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
J is for
Just look at the record.
I have President Biden, Vice President Biden.
Well, I tell you what, if you look at my record and you still doubt about my commitment, then you should vote for somebody else.
K is for
Kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
L is for
The lion, dog, face, pony soldier.
M is for
Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear work.
N is for
NATO.
O is for
The only African-American woman that's ever been elected to the United States Senate.
P is for
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
R is for
Rest her soul, and although your mom's still alive.
S is for
Send a text to the word united.
T is for
Truth over facts.
U is for
Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future.
V is for
I'll vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much.
W is for
Wait, you're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
X is for
Xi Jinping.
Y is for
And you ain't black.
Z is for
She's sleeping?
Women in our country has been classified as essential. So this is an issue.
By the way, this is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, this is you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.